chance to hear him speak, you know that he's got already some very, very high speaking skills. I've had the pleasure of hearing him a couple of times, and he's an excellent speaker. He's got an entertaining title, and I'm waiting to hear what that's all about. It's actually speech number 5 from the Competent Communicator Manual. Madam Butter's timer, it's a 5 to 7 minute speech, and it's about the objective is to focus on body language, body speech. So please help me welcome tonight's speaker number 2, Marty Mercer.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, I'd like to introduce you to someone you've never met. In fact, I'd like to introduce you to somebody that I haven't seen in about 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet the Marty Mercer of January 2004. Now, some of you have heard in previous speeches that about 3 years ago I weighed 250 pounds. These are the clothes that I used to wear. This is my coat, size 48. These are the pants, size 44. This is the size 17-inch neck. 250 pounds and a 5-foot, 10-inch frame. You also heard a few weeks ago a speech entitled Every Day is an Athletic Event. And that was a speech where I talked about how I changed my mental approach to my everyday and how I changed my eating habits and how over 12 months I lost 60 pounds. It gets better. Why is it clear enough about what 60 pounds is? Ladies and gentlemen, this is 60 pounds in a bag of concrete. So I want to continue this notion of using your head to drive your physical action. What I want to talk about tonight is for you to think more and deeper about how the biggest muscle in your body is not here, but it's between your 2 ears. It's the brain that's in your skull. That's the most important muscle that you have. I could not have done what I did losing 60 pounds in 12 months if I relied solely on physical action. I had to change the way I thought. And so tonight's subject, which is your body speaks, my message for tonight is, yes, your body speaks, but only when your mind decides to do something first. Now, the first thing I did was I got a fitness coach, and he told me one critical, important thing, and that was just keep coming back. Don't ever stop. He said it doesn't matter what you do, what exercise, run, bike, swim, walk, the elliptical, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes, it doesn't matter if it's 30 minutes, it doesn't matter if it's 60 minutes. Just don't stop. For the first time in my life, I actually listened to an expert, I internalized it, and I began to change the way I thought. I began to use that mantra of just don't stop. And I realized that suddenly my mind was driving my body. Wherever my head went, it's where the rest of my body went. And that's a great story, I guess, for losing weight. But the real trick is when you take that and apply it to another part of your life. A couple months after I lost 60 pounds, my friend Brad out in California called me up and said, I just signed us up for the Escape from Alcatraz Shark Fest swim. My good friend Brad. Now, it's real simple. You get on the ferry in Fisherman's Wharf, they take you all the way around Alcatraz, you jump in the water, and you swim back to shore. Real simple, right? You know, like if it's simple as in the water is about 55 to 58 degrees, it's real simple when you realize that if you don't take the right angle, you'll be out at the Golden Gate Bridge instead of here at Delhi Square. It's real simple when you realize that 32 people escaped from Alcatraz, and they all were either captured, shot and killed, or never seen again. Real simple when you're trying not to be the 33rd guy. But I now was in control of my head. My head was in control of my body. I knew that I needed to create a plan. So I put a plan together. I started increasing my mileage in the pool so that I could do 1.5 miles swim straight. I had never swum that far before. Second thing I did was I started reading books on some of the famous long-distance swimmers. And I even did some research on the Birdman from Alcatraz, trying to figure out where did he go wrong in his escape. I didn't want to do what the Birdman did. And lastly, this is the most important piece. You had to get the perfect wetsuit. You can't swim that race. You can't swim that race without a wetsuit.
Oh,
And how cold I said the water was? 55 to 58 degrees. So I went to a store here in Atlanta and spent 3 hours one afternoon buying the perfect wetsuit. It was going to get me from Alcatraz back to the shores of San Francisco. Now, morning of the race, it was very sunny. It wasn't too cold, but the swells weren't too high. Now, the previous day, it had been very cold. We'd gone on a bicycle ride to San Francisco. It was so cold, we had scarves, sweatshirt, sweatpants, gloves, and I'd even bought a beanie. I was very confident about my ability to complete this race. Well, that morning wasn't too bad. I jumped in the water and it didn't feel too cold. This wetsuit was working perfectly. I even felt sweat running down my chest, like I'm feeling right now. I think it's dripping out from under my arms. Now, luckily for me, I breathed on my right side. So when I started the race, let me get over here. When I started the race, I'm swimming like this, and the entire way, I'm looking at the Golden Gate Bridge. The sun was spectacular. As the Golden Gate Bridge bounced off that bridge, it was and is the most awesome view I have ever seen in my life. When I'm in the middle of San Francisco Bay, looking at the sun bouncing off that bridge. Everything was going perfectly according to plan. I was warm and toasty. I had this incredible view, and then BAM! Everything fell apart. Perfect plan started going down to the bottom of the ocean. Because the perfect wetsuit broke in the back. The zipper went all the way up. And the freezing cold water of San Francisco goes into my wetsuit. And so now I'm bobbing in the middle of San Francisco Bay with basically nothing on but my jammers. So there I was bobbing and thinking, what do I do?